Today I would like to share with you two questions that should be the most important two questions you can ever ask yourself in your life. What would that question be, the first? And then how would that second question be related to the first? And Baba, if it is the most important two questions I can ask myself, then really, what are they? An ancient proverb was once coined that said, "He who asks a question cannot avoid the answer." He who asks a question cannot avoid the answer. Therefore, when we ask something of this world, or we present a question to someone else, or to God, or to the universe, or whatever you call that higher consciousness, when you ask a question, I guarantee you, my friends, there will be an answer. And you would have heard me say this many times before, that sometimes when we pray, Lord, this is my problem, this is my concern, Prabhu, these are the things that bother me, Lord, but this is what I would like you to do for me. And sometimes when we offer a prayer like that, sometimes we don't get exactly what we want or what we ask for. And we will say, Lord, are you not listening to my prayer? And we would say, well, maybe I am going to the wrong church, or I am following the wrong religion, or I am praying the wrong way, or maybe I have used the inappropriate mantra. Just a week ago, 2-3 days ago, a young gentleman came to the gate. I just drove in, and he said, "Can I have a minute with you, please?" And I said, "Sure." I said, "Will you come in to see Senior Bats? He's not here today." He said, "No, I just have something I would like to ask." I said, "What is that?" He said, "I am a Muslim, but I have, from a little child growing up, there are things about Hinduism that I have a lot of questions about. And I am so attracted to this way of life. You know what was his question? How can I join your temple? And what do I need to bring?" I said, "Well, to join the temple, you need to come. And what you need to bring is an open mind. That is all that is required. To enjoy and dance within this beautiful spirit that is called Sanatan Dharma. It is not a religion, it is a way of life. And therefore, if you look within your way of life and you ask yourself, really, is God listening to my prayer? Am I praying the wrong way? I guarantee you, if you ask a question of God, the universe will answer. But sometimes the answer is no, or not yet, or I have something better in store for you. God responds to every prayer, and every question that we ask of this universe, I guarantee that God will respond. And that is why, be careful what you ask for, because the universe will listen and respond accordingly. And therefore, he who asks a question cannot avoid the response or the answer. In the ancient times of Germany, you all would have heard about the Nazi, right? Anybody here not heard about the Nazi? The Nazis were... Keshav? Very good. It's okay to be honest, because that's what we learned. The Nazis were those German tribal group, if I may call it that, who had a fanatical way about life, that they were superior to everyone in every other class, sex, meaning that male species was dominant. Everything about that German tribe was determined, they determined that they were superior to everyone. And therefore, in the name of superiority, in the name of a principle, they committed heinous crimes towards not only people in Germany, but around the world. And then one day, there was this is a documented story about a young man who was captured for many years. He was prisoner of war to the Nazis of Germany. 3, 4, 5 years went by, and he realized that nothing was happening in his life to cause his freedom. And one day, in his silent moments, having grown huge beard, having a body that was smelly as a prisoner, having been undernourished based on the food or limited foods that were given to him, it dawned on him, am I asking myself the right questions? And when he reflected on that thought, he documented in his journal, he said, all these years I have asked myself the question, why am I here? Why are you punishing me, God? Why am I experiencing this unfortunate circumstance? And it occurred to him, he had to change the conversation with himself. He had to ask another question. And it was that moment in his life when he asked the more important question. It was, how can I get out of here? How can I enjoy freedom? What is required for me to enjoy freedom? It was only then that his thought process and his awareness more than ever started paying attention to opportunities for escape. Friends, the question that you ask of yourself and of your people around you determines the type of life and outcome you will have. I would have also said this many times before, that the wisest people, Rihanna, the wisest people are not those who have all the answers, but those who ask the most questions. Isn't that true? The wisest people are not those who have all the answers because they are fooling themselves. But the wisest people are those who ask the most questions. Devotees, in Tulsidas' Ramayana, in all the scriptures, the Shrutis, the Smritis, all the revelations, when you would have heard in Skanpuran, at the banks of the Naimisharanya river, the conversation between Kushumi and Garuda, they were all satsangs, where a question or questions were being asked, and the revelations of the highest truth were being dispensed. The Holy Prophet Muhammad, upon whom be peace, he asked the question, who am I? Where have I come from? And when I die, where will I go? And those questions caused him to give the revelation of the Holy Quran. Devotees, I ask you to pay attention to the question. Sometimes subconsciously we ask of ourselves, are we asking questions to bring about positive and productive results in our life? Please chant with me. Jai Siya Ram, Jai Jai Siya Ram, 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 Ram 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 have you ever noticed that the most curious creature, it is what is the most curious creature that God has created? It is Lloyd. Someone said a female, a human. Okay. But out of the human race, who are most curious? They are the children. And why are children most curious? How do you know that? It's because they ask the most questions. You know, even scientifically, we are told that between the ages of 4 and the age of 12, the human brain is most susceptible to the accelerated or the most accelerated rate of development. Therefore, when we have our children, today we celebrate the life and the successes of those who would have gotten past the first academic milestone of SEA, and they're at the stage where they have set the platform for the rest of their lives. But how does one establish a routine whereby the rest of our life is rewarding or satisfactory? If I were to ask Ria, how old are you? She would say, Baba, I am 18 years old. Most women don't go past 18. 22 for the old lady, most. And therefore we start repeating the birthdays 22 years old for how many times? But if you were to ask yourself, I were to ask Karan's mom, and they say, Maji, what do you expect for the rest of your life? What are you doing at this point in time that will cause a future? However long God permits you in this life, what are you doing now to allow the rest of your life to unfold productively? And you see, this question that I'm asking is very relevant to each and every one of you. And this is why. When you examine the amount of questions you ask of yourself versus the number of judgments that we make, look at the two scenarios. The number of questions that we ask versus the number of judgments that we make. And you would find that as a child, from the ages of 4 or when they start speaking to the time of 12, they would ask a lot more questions than they would have judgments in their life. Meaning, they are more curious. They are like sponges.